Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the I Win Morning Show. I am super excited about the show today because it is the last weekend of May.
Woo!
Uh, if you are in Georgia or in the South, this is a signal that is Memorial Day weekend, which means that it is the end of the school year, or your school year is ending in 2 to 3 weeks. So everybody is in countdown mode of school coming to an end, and it's exciting for many, but it's sad for some. But definitely want to say congratulations to everyone who finished the 2022-2023 school year in their right mind, in a sound mind, in a good space. I'm glad that people made it out through that year. Going to still continue to push people to let's dismantle the system and build something that really works for all kids. You can do that by joining the National Parents Union. Quick public service announcement. Dr. Danny, JT the Brand Master, uh, it's so great to see everybody on this morning. JT, Dr. Danny, how was the weekend? What's new?
Well, it's pretty quiet. People like to pop close to the holiday weekend. So in
They still
Decatur, we
popping
already
over
heard.
here. My God.
Yeah. So I'm always, and it's not just on the holiday; it's always leading up to the holiday too. So Decatur is quite wild right now. So
Or it's greater.
where they say is greater, I tell you got to be brave up in here. But
Gotta be
anyways,
brave.
with that being said, just keeping it close, getting ready for nephews who are about to be out of school, and Auntie Danny and Dee Dee are going to be on duty. So I'm getting all
Come
my
on.
activities together. Okay.
Come
That is
on.
awesome. That is awesome. Shout out to aunts and uncles
Yes. Yes.
that are doing um, some phenomenal things. Listen, guys, we are excited about going into June. We'll be coming off very soon. We're going to be doing our last show in about a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. It's going to be live at Antoine Akins and his family's breakfast spot. We'll get more details on that. Now, let me tell you this. I'm hoping that we all going to be there. But if none of us are there, I'm going to be there for a good time and to eat some breakfast. Even if I am on screen at the restaurant, Dr. Danny may be pulling up. JT may be on his phone, channeling us from Mars or from LA or New York or wherever he has
Wow.
been.
Wow.
He has so much business. And you know how it is. I joke about this, but I get it. I have very busy friends, and so your friends get busy. It's like,
This is what we pray for. You be
yeah,
fruitful
you
and
get busy,
multiply, my
get
brother.
that territory enlarges. Those phone calls start, getting less and less, and the text messages start to just vanish away. But it's all good. I'm really joking, but I'm being serious too. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I pass the mic to Dr. Danny because we have a special guest with us today. If you guys have been watching this month, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. We have so many phenomenal things happening, and we've had on some great special guest hosts, including Tanya Winters Buford, who was the original host of the I Win Morning Show. Our good brother, Barney Jackson, who is also a fellow author and has written some phenomenal things. Breakfast with Barney. We had a good conversation about books and just the work that we're doing. So we may be able to flash some of those book covers on this show, but we have a special guest who's going to have so many resources and just things that you guys are going to need to know for summer transition. So Dr. Danny, before we go ahead and bring on our special guest, we're going to give the people what we normally give them with the moment of affirmation with Dr. Danny.
Sure. Well, I was a little tardy because I understood the assignment and I had to dust off one of my hats, one of my caps for the affirmation segment. Okay. So we're going to just put on instead of my glasses, I got the hat on. Okay. All right. And this is all about in honor of graduation season. Every day is graduation day. I can walk the stage of life knowing that I will never be the same. I can accept my diploma because I have learned something new that will make me better, stronger, and more compassionate. and I can be proud of just that, and I am proud of myself. That is the affirmation for today. You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Quantity muted. I'm muted.
I was
Jesus.
like, Dr. Danny, I muted myself.
Jesus.
And I had my hat on because I was like, yeah, graduation time to be grabbing. Boom. I love graduates. Now, I may keep my hat on the whole time. I'm not sure. But Dr. Danny, we need a repeat.
Okay.
An affirmation. You know, I always come back with a rewind.
Get it right now. Got to get it right. Okay. How am I looking, JT?
Yeah. I like it.
You looking good.
Good. All right. Okay, here we go. Every day is graduation day. I can walk the stage of life knowing that I will never be the same. I can accept my diploma because I have learned something new that will make me better, stronger, and more compassionate. And I can be proud of just that. And I will be proud of myself.
Awesome, guys. Be proud of yourselves. It's
every day.
It's so important to make sure you do that. Principal Joseph Sally was on the Speak Black Man podcast earlier this month, and we talked about the importance of celebrating all students, because if I'm not a straight A student, if I'm not getting the citizenship award, am I really being celebrated? How are we celebrating all students? And so you got to go to Educational Entities, check out that podcast so you can see how we're celebrating all students. Now, guys, listen, we're going to bring on our special guest of the hour. I'm so excited about this because she is sister, friend, phenomenal educator, just phenomenal woman of God. She's awesome. If you know her, you love her. But those who are watching, Jason, Tanya, so many people who know Tara, we're gonna bring her on.
We've graduated to the next level.
Yes, we have graduated.
Good morning.
And the graduate of the graduates, the dean of graduates herself.
Why, thank you very
so
much.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much. I don't have a cap and gown, but I did dress for the occasion, so I am dressed for graduation. Certainly. So,
yes. You know, Dr. Danny and I, we like a costume, so we like to play dress up. So we go with it, right? This is so exciting, guys. It's such an exciting time in life, and if we had to give today a big question, I would say today's big question is centered around how are you preparing for summer transition? We're going into the summertime. School is coming to an end. But let's be real. There are some pros. There are some cons. There is some good. There is some bad in this time period and this framing. So I want to get us started with Tara. You have done some phenomenal things. First of all, for parents who are watching this live, you all have been asking about Tara and her just golden nuggets of information she provided on the National Parents Union very first town hall in December. So thankful that Tara was on to support NPU, but also me. I really, really appreciate that. And the parents just fell in love with Tara. She gave so much great information. So I'm hoping that on the show today, she'll be able to talk a little bit about her books and what she's done around literacy. That's a major coalition, major campaign we're doing for NPU. You can connect with me, Jason, at npunion.org if you are interested in how we are doing the work to improve literacy. But Tara, if you could kick us off with your books, and some of the work that you've done, and then we all have books as well, so we can kind of, highlight our work for a recap of last week's show. But Tara, I'm gonna pass the mic to you.
Well, first of all, let me just also say thank you so much for the invitation. And most of the times, anytime that you or Danny are asking me to do something, I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna make it happen. So I will always be there to support in any way, because you all certainly do that for me for sure, in personal and professional ways. And so I certainly am always humbled and grateful for the opportunity to be in company with you all. And JT, getting to know you, I'm feeling like I will have that same sense of you after today's conversation as well. So the first thing you asked me to do is to share about my books. I am a children's author, and I actually write under the pen name of my two nephews, Jordan and Trent. Jordan is the youngest, Trent being the eldest, who unfortunately is no longer in the physical presence, but I still have his presence with me every day. And so the books that I have written, and I'll just show some of the titles and certainly can share with you all for viewers to be able to connect with me later on. But the first one that I wrote was If Tomorrow Comes and I Am Gone. It is a book that is written for families that may be dealing with cancer and being able to have conversations with young children about how to navigate the big scary things that come along with the disease, the way families come together to support. And it also includes in the book, because I am a teacher, it includes activities and lessons for people to do who are either living with that journey currently, or people who are supporting families through that and not sure how to do that. So it comes with a few lessons and activities of things to just do supporting a family. The next one that came along was an accompanied journal, and it's called Love Letters for Mackenzie. Mackenzie is the character in the book that I just talked about, and it's really designed to have every 10 pages has like a prompt. So that if you are a person who is looking to journal about what things you would want to be able to leave, or messages or words that you want to be able to share with someone that you love, there are prompts in the book that help you with that. But every few pages from the prompts gives you the space to be able to write your own journey and journal or love letters to someone that you want to just kind of share with. The next one is 7 Times for Forgiveness and 1 for My Bestest Behavior. It is really supporting families that are growing, and how do you support children when there's a new family member, perhaps there's a sense of invisibility because all the attention goes to the new baby, and how the family, the tiredness that comes with all of that. And then just figuring out how do you still navigate and ensure that all the children that you have in your family still feel equally as valued and important to you, in spite of the new and growing way that they still have love for a new sibling, but not really sure, where do I fit into this family now that somebody else is here and I've been the only one, or perhaps we've been the only ones. The next one is So You Say God Sent You. It is a story that is really intended to include Black males in the story, and the story of relationships of godchildren and how they work. And then also from that, the extension of how we can teach children to be of service to other people, because in part of this journey, this young person wants to figure out how they become kind of a foster grandchild to a senior who is without family, and being able to extend the love that has been extended to him to someone else within their community as well. And then the final title is Teach Me Baby. And it is really for families that are combined families. And so how do you have, when you have a child that you has as a bonus child, and then you start growing that family, that child may be having questions as to what is their role now that a child comes along that I may not have been born from you, but what is my role now? And so Teach Me Baby really is about how do you support children who have been, again, in blended families, and when those blended families begin to grow as well, with the mother and father having additional children to that. So it is the navigation of that sibling relationship, but also the relationship of those blended parents in that process as well. So
all I can say is Tara is going to be, and so is Dr. Danny with I Change Collaborative, are going to be joining the National Parents Union, because parents are telling us through our national data that they need representation and literacy. And these stories, especially in the books that Tara just mentioned, need to be told. But they're also saying that no one's having spaces for us to talk, where we can come together, who's, facilitating affinity groups for us and allowing us to be in spaces that are safe. So ladies, we definitely want to make that connection. And I want to say Dr. Gay, because I want to give it, listen,
Right.
These universities are giving every Tom, Dick, and Harry honorary degree who has done nothing in the community and has taken a lot of photos, and they look very well. And that's not everyone, but a majority of people, that's what's happening. So if they can do it, I can do it too. So Dr. Gay, I'm looking forward to getting people connected to your books, and having you back in November for our National Town Hall series for National Family Engagement Month, where a lot of the books that you have written focus on those families who are underserved in education we want to represent. So I had to throw that out there as well. Now, JT, Dr. Danny, you guys have books as well. So I wanted to give you guys a few moments to talk about the stories that you're telling, and why literacy is so important to making sure that people are connected.
Brother JT?
Yes. I have a book.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes,
talk
and
about
you have a dream and a book and a
book.
business?
I don't be talking about it though. But it's called Wake Up Be Inspired. Actually, when I do the little segments on here, I'm actually pulling most of that from this book. It's 30 days of inspiration. So I have 10 days of inspiration from what I pull from the good holy word, and then 10 days of inspiration from Black influential people, and then 30 days, I mean, not 30 days, but 10 days of just inspiration from myself. So each day not only has me talking to the people, but we also have a video of me kind of continuing that conversation. So if you need inspiration, people of God, the book is waiting on you. If you go to my website, imjt.com, you actually can get the digital version for free. So it is just as good as the flip version. And if you got a printer, you can print it out at your house and flip it and still save yourself some money, you know? So I think I did that maybe 2, going on 3 years ago. So we're going to see what's coming up. But yeah.
Awesome.
That is
Be
awesome.
inspired.
Now, we want you guys, listen, that's a resource. I would definitely send that to parents I know who could take advantage of being able to print it out and get it online. However, everyone else that's working and able, go out and buy this book. You need to be able to pick it up like my good brother Stephen Bond, Dr. Stephen Bond. Shout out to Dr. Stephen Bond. His book that he wrote with his students. You need to be able to just pick it up, go through it, see what's available, and be in touch with the energy. Pick up a book. It's good. All right. Now, I'm glad that resource is out there, JT, but let me just go ahead and reinforce.
Pick up a book.
Yeah.
Isn't that song?
Well, let's take
Close
a look.
enough.
It's in the book. Yeah, close enough. Close. The teacher in me wanted to be
It's
like, hey, let me help you out.
and
Dr. Danny was like, close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough. I love you guys so much. The art of storytelling is what we talked about on last week's show, and it's so important as we talk about summer transition and leading into all of the different stories of graduates, of seniors, of families, and what these milestones mean. But there's also another flip side to this. So let's get right into the social emotional impact of transitions, whether kids are graduating, whatever level, college, you could be graduating with your doctorate degree. I'm going to put that out there as well. We're celebrating all graduates in all levels of transition. People could be getting new promotions, leaving from one school or one business to go to the next. Students are transitioning from elementary to middle to high, pre-K to kindergarten. So let's get into the impact of transitions as we are closing out the school year. What does this signify? And how does this impact? Let's go ahead and just give Beyonce a shout out. How does this impact the summer renaissance of what we're getting ready to experience? So let's have at it. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Is it just me, or does it feel like every year, and I'm not a parent, so I'm not judging, but it feels like every year parents are scrambling at the last minute to make plans for their children in the summer? Or is it that the deadlines seem to be moving up? Because I feel like summer camps get filled up quite quickly. Opportunities are, like few and far in between by the time at the end of May you're looking for something to do. So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
That's good. That's good.
I would say part of it also speaks to the inequities that happen, because quite honestly, what you have is that people open up registrations much earlier on.
Right.
And those families who actually can afford it have the opportunity to take advantage of it, whereas some families who economically have to budget for certain things to happen. When you think about the class dues and all those other things that come at the time that many of those camp registrations are happening, some families are just taking care of making sure their children are able to navigate finishing the school year. And by the time that check is available for them to be able to then pay for a camp situation, many of them are filled. And so I do think that it comes to one of those places where it speaks to the need for greater opportunities to be made available to families that have different economic kind of situations that are happening, whether it's a promise to pay that you allow people to get into, that you recognize that some people may need time, but they want to commit, but they have an opportunity to pay later. Whether it's a small deposit that is due to hold a space, and then after a period of time, if not, if you're not able to hold it, that you still have, because what you never have is camps who have inabilities to fill their slots. And a lot of times people will say, oh, we have to pre-register, because if not, we won't. You will always have children. You will always have people who are looking for things for their children to do. And so that is not really an issue. And I do wish that it was something that more people considered, the economic barriers that keep some of our families from being able to take advantage of these opportunities that are available for summers. And again, the timelines that camps roll out when registrations and all those other things are actually due, and how that impacts families who may not financially have the capacity to pay for multiple things all at the same time.
That's good.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's like it's just a never ending story, and Terry, you don't know this, but on this show, I always end up getting inspired and thinking of new ideas. And I'm learning on trying to keep my mouth shut, but it's not working. So again, I'm going to say this ahead of time. You're welcome to anybody who takes this idea and runs with it. But the idea that there needs to be, just like a college counselor, there needs to be a camp advisor that does exactly what you just said. Like in the community, let's partner with local businesses, let's partner with, organizations that are providing summer care and summer camp. And then let's advocate for, like you just said, those families that have maybe some of those obstacles. And maybe we can work together to create certain slots designated for those families.
Dr. Danny, let me tell you.
Opportunity. I'm sorry, Jason. It's also a unique opportunity for us to reinvest in our own children. Right. Because what we could do is you could also offer opportunities for children to become CPR certified, to do certain things, and then they could host camps. So that way, the high school graduate who's not quite sure what they were going to do between the time they were going off to college, maybe they only host small community camps where they can take children on free things. Like you go to the park for free. You can organize activities. You can look for where are free things that are going to be available in the summer that then someone else then supports you in getting your children to be able to participate in those things. That could be community centered, that your children already know who they are because they're their neighbors who are supporting them in doing this. They might be those who have intentions. Maybe you just graduated from college and you're intended to teach. Maybe you're then the person who comes in and offers twice a week some classes and activities that you do that are structured for the kids in your community as well.
That's good.
So it is also an opportunity for us to reimagine that a camp does not have to be an institution or an organization. Right. You can create camp type experiences just based on a desire to be of support to your local community, be of service to your own, whether it's your own family that you host a camp for, because you talked about auntie duties. Maybe it's camp auntie, and aunts connect in a community that say this is a camp that aunts, in 1 week each aunt organizes the activities that the children that they're working with that week are going to actually do. So there's phenomenal opportunities for us to, one, be able to address the economic need, but also be able to tap into, Jason, what you were alluding to, which is, what do I do now that I've either just finished school and there's this wait period or a period of time before I make my next move, which might be my new job, or it might be my next step into the next school that I'm attending. So it is some great opportunities that we have that meet multiple needs all at the same time.
Absolutely.
I love this. Dr. Danny, that was a great idea. Tara, thank you for that follow-up. Let me also say, with my school administration hat, that by design, that is the job of the counselor. However, school counselors are not able to really focus on that because one of the things that Dr. Danny, you mentioned and Tara highlighted is that the time period in which this information is coming through. A lot of people forget that when the information for summer camps and resources are coming through, we're also in test preparation. It's high stakes testing mode. And so counselors who want to be able to have these groups and sit down and, really invest in these things to make sure that families have what they need in preparation of getting every family who has a different child something that they can be connected to, a lot of times falls by the wayside if your school doesn't have the staffing or student support staff support to come in and really elevate that work for the counselor. So school leaders, parents, if you are seeing issues around this, then you may want to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, we probably want our counselors to focus a little bit more on what we were designed to have them do, as opposed to out of the 9 months schools are in, 6 of those months they're focused on standardized testing. We may want to redirect that energy. So parents, that's how you can get connected, or making sure you get these summer resources. And community members, let's tap you guys in too. I know JT is an entrepreneur. We all can talk about our amazing, well, let me not say that, because some generations may be different. I know growing up during the summertime, connecting with the programs that the city will offer through Parks and Recreation in collaboration with our community library, and how that helped us with literacy and storytelling, really a big area around conflict resolution. So I want to ask you guys this question as we're focusing in on how parents can get connected to summer resources. What are some ways that the community can really support summer programming and literacy for young people and families?
I would say teaching, knowing one thing that you're great at and what you do, being able to take that skill, that trade, and going to some of these camps and saying, hey, can I get an hour once a week to come through, find a group of individuals, find a group of kids that can kind of connect to what I'm saying and doing, and kind of start showing them how you got started and what you do, just to kind of give them other opportunities of being able to see something different and where their time can go and being able to do. I try to teach at least once a year, go do something at some type of school to show them there's opportunity out there for some that may go this route and choose to go that route. This is what you have to do. So I think just taking what you do, was you getting someone that's working on your team, but giving back some of your time and your knowledge and experience so that they can get started, because they have more opportunities and advancements than I did, and then some do. So what else can we be able to do? Because the way AI is taking over, they may be able to help me do something I wasn't able to do because I'm sharing my process and the knowledge. So I think just being able to do that will assist.
Hey, I like that. Tara, Danny.
I love that. I think that one of the things that I would recommend to businesses is don't wait until the summertime to start partnering. Become a partner throughout the year, so that you're already building those relationships. You're already, in a position where, because I think what we fail to mention sometimes, especially for those who aren't in the school system, is that there's got to be a level of trust built and established in creating these types of partnerships. And I'm sure, Tara, you can attest to this, but it's, who do we trust? We can't trust everybody. And the idea is, sometimes schools may have trusted the wrong types of businesses, or maybe the idea is, what is the relationship and the expectation of that relationship? So JT, for your business especially, I think it's, like you said, the new wave of artificial intelligence. It's, the tech world. It's all those things right now that will be so relevant to what students are going to be focusing in on when they graduate, those types of fields. It's how can you then get support, and then in turn, how can they support other people? What they're learning with your organization is what they can then go and give back to their schools.
I think the other thing that some people don't always think about is, how do you engage your children in service? Because really a lot of the 21st century kind of work or labor skills that people talk about, those things can actually be developed through service. It is knowing how to be courteous to people. It is the customer relationship. It is knowing that my time is valuable and other people's time is valuable. And so a lot of the things that they could apply in other ways when it comes times for them to actually seek employment, they could develop those skills through service. And so how are you in service to other people as well, which is also something I typically try to think about, things that are either low or no cost for families to get involved in. And being of service and connecting with service agencies certainly is one of those ways, because there are a lot of places that are looking for people to volunteer. They're in need of people to do things, especially in the summertime as well, because a lot of these organizations that may be hosting camps need people to volunteer to do things for those camps. So whether it is you are providing a service, meaning like JT, you're going in to talk about what a skill set is that you have for that particular week or however period of time that the camp is hosting that theme. It might also be that you're introducing your children to other ways that they are of service to other people within their communities as well. But the other thing I would really want to encourage people, because so much of our children is driven by electronics, but to also introduce our children to just the standard of play, taking them out, encouraging them to have maybe a kickball league, develop a softball league in their community, have them do things that actually allow for them, because what we don't recognize or talk about as much is those types of things also support them with their mental health and development, learning how to deal with conflict through play, how to resolve conflict through play. Those are things that become important tools and valuable for them, because again, so much of their experience now after COVID is still so driven by them being connected to an electrical device, as opposed to them having human connections. And service and actual play supports them with their social development, which is so desperately needed for so many of them who are void of that as a result of them having to be sheltering in place or whatever it was that related to COVID. Those developmental skills of just human connections were lost for so many of them. And this is another way for you to support them in the development of that, because we think about academic development, but that social and emotional development is equally important to be in tandem with what they are also being able to demonstrate they've learned academically in school as well.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I want to ask this question around preparing students for summer break, where they're going to be engaged with, other young people, adults. Dr. Danny brought up a good point around community, businesses, and organizations building trust. And I know that trust is a huge factor in, can I trust this church, program with my young person? Can I trust my, child to go on an overnight, camp, or a 2-week camp that's out of town or that's out of state? I want to ask you guys, from the business standpoint, how can we make sure that staff are prepared to serve children well, that the human resource part is there, but most importantly, that the staff members are actually being trained in special education, because all kids learn differently. They're being trained in social emotional learning to help diffuse social conflict, but also internet bullying, which is a major thing. So just wanted to give everybody some time to kind of speak about how can we really help build trust with parents and young people, and preparing staff members that are going to be serving them in the summertime with these resources.
I think you build trust by building relationships. And so, for instance, if I'm a camp director, the first thing that I'm going to do is to ensure that I'm in communities of the families, or I'm hosting conversations with families to be able to share, here's what our mission is as a camp, here's what the ways in which we do our work here, the demonstrations of the way in which we've trained our staff, open it up for questions that people may have, open it up for opportunities for them to maybe even for the first day or as a part of that experience, that they get to kind of experience what the camp experience will be for their children. So you build out a day in the life of a camper, so that families actually understand, what are my children going to experience? Who are they going to experience it with? This is how you build the trust for those families, so that they actually know this is what it is, what my children are actually going to be exposed to when I leave them here, if it's an overnight type of situation. Here's what are the protocols we have if your child has anxiety because they are overnight for the first time and away. Here's how they can stay connected to you. What are the expectations that you have if they become afraid or they need to come home? Like, being able to talk people through the process, and then again, allowing them to get to know who are the people who their children will be entrusted to be with and spend their time with, as I think one of the best ways that any organization that is working with children, whether it is overnight or for just hours throughout a day, you have a responsibility of building those relationships with the families that are going to be trusting you with their children, because it is an honor and should be treated as such, that people will trust you with their children. They're some of their greatest gifts. And so you have to treat it as such.
That's awesome.
I think we also have to be mindful too that we have families who don't travel, have not traveled outside of their own families, their own communities. And so I think owning and honoring that there is that anxiety that needs to be addressed as well. And having those kind of conversations too. We make reference to first gen when we talk about college, but there's also first gen travelers. And so, people just don't have the means, the time, the energy to even deal with the stress of what it takes to prepare for traveling. So those overnight camps, which I am grateful that I got to experience, I know that in the midst of COVID, they don't look the same. And families are definitely reluctant to trust not just other people, but the environments themselves. Will my child come back sick? There are all these different levels of anxiety that we still are dealing with post, COVID. Yes.
That's good. I just see JT hand moving.
But still my hand.
Yeah, what's that? Post COVID. And I would say from the lens of wanting people to trust what I can do when I have, just ensuring that you are clear and you know how to communicate to these families, kids, what you're doing, what they can expect. I believe kind of when it comes to that arena, over communicate. I'd rather you say that I said more than not saying enough, but ensuring that there are systems and structures in place that they can trust, showcasing how they can be able to use it, like really utilizing technology where parents make them feel like they can check in with their child and see what's going on, like really beefing up how we allow some parents to feel that they're there even though they're not there. Because I used to actually be over a summer camp back in Alabama when I was like 19. I was leading like grown-ups, and I was like, okay, this is weird, but they put me there. And one of the things that I did was I thought, okay, what would I have wished I would have had or done? And that's how I began to communicate with those parents and kids. And it was a lot because I'm 19, 20. I'm like, I got to tell you this, you should know that. Well, we can't always assume that people should know anything. So that's making sure that we communicate. And I think that'll help build. I just know these camps are not like my camps used to be. We had to wear a t-shirt and we got free lunch and we had a couple of field trips. Now it's like you got to really pay some coins to really try to experience. And I'm loving, Sarah, how you're sharing affordable ways, because I don't think affordable, because like when you see it, you're like, can you really have fun without any money? You can. You just have to have the information on and put the work in of knowing what you need to be able to do. Because Dr. Danny, I got to keep my god baby, again. So I need some stuff because she be wanting to do stuff. I don't have no game. She wants to actually play, but again, I got to put the work in to research what it is because I want the experience. So I think that's another thing of, if you can't get the count, you got to put the time in of researching and learning. If you don't want to pay the money, put the time in to research, learn, and get these resources, because there are things out there that's just not going to be readily available right in front of you.
Yeah. Sometimes getting the information isn't as easy as people may think. So I'm also thinking about families who have interruptions in their technology, which is a big part of access. So let's also be intentional about, one of the things that I utilize in the classroom is, being able to bridge the gap between old school and new school. Yes, you can send me, something on the link tree, through the group chat, but I also need to be able to drive by the school and see it on the marquee. For those who still like to get things in the mail, I may want to drop that newsletter with resources and information. But also, I'm a real big champion about making sure that everybody in the village is doing their part. People are connecting at the skating rink. Is someone there? Busybodies in the community is what the old ladies at the community, the seasoned ladies in the community would say. But are we getting the community busybodies the information they need to make sure that it's posted at the skating rink, that it's on the church marquee, that it's in the fellowship hall, that it's at the mosque, that it's at the different areas where people are coming together.
Family Dollar.
Creating Family Dollar. You better say that. If you're a parent coordinator at a school, you know that the Family Dollar, the Dollar Tree, is the place. You stand out there for 2 hours and you done touched about 300 families, 300 parents. I'm not lying. Because we've done it before.
And the grocery stores, like Publix and Kroger's in your space.
They sell bulletin boards.
Yeah, but I like the energy too. So the actual physical presence of being there, getting people literacy. That's literacy in action. A lot of people don't think of it in that way, but you're providing people information in the form of literature, which is literacy, and really building that. And also being able to break it down and communicate with people where they are. We have all different kinds of beautiful people, and sometimes you have to be prim and proper. And sometimes you have to be very down to earth. Hey, baby, listen, you need to make sure they showing up at this time. And don't come with no bonnet on. If you need something, you let me know. I got you. Sometimes you have to be able, exactly how I just said it. Exactly how I just said
it. Devil is a lie.
Yeah, baby, a bonnet can't go everywhere. A do-rag can't go everywhere either. If we want these brothers to pull their pants up, brothers and sisters, it's a universal thing now. And also wearing these do-rags, then we have to be consistent about, hey, baby, a bonnet can't really show up here. But what did you need? I can come in the restroom. Let me hook you up. I got my sister, over here. She can do the front. I can do the back. We're going to hook you up, and then we're going to take this bonnet off and keep it pushing. But we have to be able, the point that I'm making with that is we have to be able to have clear communication with people as to what our expectations are, what do we need, what are we doing, but also meeting people where they are. And we have to do that in a way of being intentional about building relationships. I want to go back to a major tip. If you weren't taking notes, see, I ain't asking y'all to do something I ain't doing. Let me just also say that. See, my notes, I got handwriting on them.
You may need to start sharing these notes, Jason. So
I do share them. I shared them on Speak Black Man in the evening when people come back to the channel and say, "Oh, okay, let me see what he's talking about." And I do my recap of my notes.
I think you should take a picture of your little post-it and post it so that people can see. Because some literacy wants to be read. I
write down a lot of different notes. I could be writing down I need to make sure that I charge JT $300 for putting this idea out here. Some of those are going in my notes too. So now let me also say, guys, Dr. Danny and Tara put out a great idea about an auntie's cap, or if I'm an auntie, if I'm a godparent. No one is really supporting that work. I am going to put this out in the atmosphere that if you want to really create that, EE has a platform for you. We also have a contract for you as well. And Dr. Danny and Tara are great experts to connect with, because this is what we push with MPU. Get these parents to the table, but also bring them a coin, because what they're bringing to the table is valuable. It's life-changing. What Dr. Danny and Tara are bringing to the table in regards to how we can get godparents, how we can get aunties, how we can get the OG uncles involved in summer activities, in group spaces, and all those dynamics. Make sure you hit them up, all right, for their expertise.
I thought you literally was about to create a camp and say that they will be leading this camp.
Yeah, I
have a camp. No. I have a STEM camp, free for grandparents, and I know my lane. But if people want to collaborate, power of collaboration. Because see, I've also learned too that I can't do. I'm not taking up Christ's responsibility. I can't be all things for all people. But I can do my part in my lane. So my lane is I can help you create a space, but I'm going to connect you with the people. And I'm going to also let you know that if I'm connecting you with good people, you got to come in and be able to bless the people too. Even if you don't have a coin, you may say, hey, I can come and do your garden for you. So let me teach y'all. Y'all, come on. I want to teach a marketplace. Maybe that's a whole nother class. Dr. Danny, invite me to affinity group so I can talk about that a little bit more. But listen, guys, I'm looking at time, and we're talking about summertime. We're talking about transition. Violence is a major thing that's happening across the nation. Atlanta is not the only place that has a lot of high crime. We're sending young people back out into the community. And so we have to be real about this. Let's make sure that we're being intentional. Utilize the resources in your community because we need to be safe and we need to make sure that kids are connected. Now, if you are lost, you may be that guy, parent like JT that's like, I need to know what toys, what games, what things I need to connect. We're going to take you back down memory lane. And I'm asking everyone on the show today, those who are viewing live, what are some of the best things about the summer that you're looking forward to? What are your favorite things that you look forward to in the summertime? Now, this is going to help you guys get some ideas about what you can do in the summertime. All right, JT, you got your hand raised, brother. Go ahead.
I'm excited about wearing my Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Hoochie Daddy Shorts was the first episode of season 3, Speak Black Man. So go to Educational Entities and find out all about that conversation around social emotional growth and development for our people. All right.
Yes. Yes, I am. But no, I'm also I'm excited about summer because I know how much people are outside and we're hanging. I'm just dreading the humidity, situation. But other than that, just getting time to kind of reset, we collaborate, kind of connecting and reading. That's one of the things I know I try to do is find some good books that I can, try to learn and gain, even though I know that my mindset sometimes slips into school where I think, oh, it's June, July, nothing to do. Everything starts back in August, and it's like you're not in school anymore. You still have to work the same way you were working so I just don't want to be in that mindset, but just being able to kind of connect, travel, see the world, because I do see more people engaging and connecting, family unions coming on. So I think it's just that moment of being able to connect, go outside, have a picnic, kind of chat. I think I'm going to bring books with me too. Yeah,
I'm all for a picnic. Any family, friends, villagers that want to have a picnic and invite me, I'm going to come. I'm going to be ready to eat. And if you give me a microphone, we're going to have a good time. All right. Anybody else? What are some things in the summer that you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to take the question just slightly different just because you've asked for resources for people and for people who are not clear. When you have children who are 7 and younger, please encourage that nap time, because what happens for a lot of children is the lack of rest and their minds struggle with that. And so when my nephews were younger, we started out our morning. We would start off with breakfast. They had a little bit of a show. We went to the park. They ran and played. We fed ducks. We had lunch. And then they had nap time. And after nap time, we did some little handwriting activities or coloring activities based on their age level. But nap time is important. What I would also invite is any brothers out there who are currently leading things like meditation, capoeira, or any other things that help older children also be able to center their minds and be able to just learn breathing techniques and other things. I'm going to invite them and encourage them to find a way to connect with our older children as well, because a lot of this violence and the conflict that you're talking about, Jason, is because their minds are just constantly racing. We find that our children are operating like our technology. They never turn off. And it is important for them to learn how to just disconnect and just be centered with themselves. And so that's the part that I am excited about for myself, is the rest that is available in the summer months, because things do tend to slow down just a bit for me. But I do want to encourage people seriously, because that is also another one of those free things that you get to do with children, is to encourage rest and breathing and meditation. You can find those things online. If some children may need it to actually be in person, find ways that you can connect. And again, I ask that any of our people who do this work, who are yoga instructors, who are other people of color, that children can also see themselves in the representation of the people hosting these kind of things, so that they also don't still think that these things are foreign to our communities, because there are many of us who are doing this work. That would be what I would be encouraging and most excited to see. Who are the people who will step into that space and help our children learn how to center themselves and be at peace, and see how to find peace when there's so much conflict that may be around them. That is critical to their growth and development as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's wonderful. I think for me, my whole idea would be to find ways to support my nephews. They want to have, I love this. They want to create a lemonade stand. I mean, you don't hear those words anymore. You know, nobody comes out to play and to buy lemonade from the local, kids, but they want to create one. So, as Auntie Duty, my job is to help them come up with the plan. They are going to come up with some recipes and we're going to just have fun with it. It's all about making the memories and taking the pictures to document and have the experience. But definitely will be taking care of myself too. I, as an entrepreneur, never have summer office hours. Starting June 1st, we're going to have some summer office hours.
Okay.
So that will be what I do this year differently for me.
You said June 1st. So between now and June, we can just expect the great regular service times and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Up until June 1st.
JT.
Look, up until June 1st.
Starting
June 1st at 12 a.m.
Right.
00, not 01, but right at 12.
Get on my calendar if you need me.
And Jason, if I could just also offer one more thing, let's also expand for our families out there what literacy represents. Financial literacy becomes fun. You don't have to do it real money. My nephews, when they were younger, I created fake money for them and they got to purchase things, whether it was purchasing time to have more game time. They got to purchase little snacks that had already been purchased just so that they're learning how to budget. So they got their own little fake money for them to be able to do those things. You can do computer literacy where you're talking about with grandparents. There are phenomenal ways. JT talked about AI. They can do some exploration around that for this summer as well. I just think there's so many ways that literacy also can be expounded upon so that people are really thinking about what are the other ways that literacy shows up, especially when we have some of our young athletic, gifted athletes who are out there and the NIL gives them an opportunity. That financial literacy piece becomes critical, teaching them how to read contracts. So you can do some of that. And if you're a person who does that kind of work, you help them understand how to read contracts. What does that mean? Supporting families on knowing what contracts mean, because people are waiting for them to, and really preying upon them because of the ignorance around those things. So they will sign away rights to things that they don't really even understand what they're doing. So if you're attorneys out there that do contract law and want to offer something this summer, offer those kind of things to families, because those things become relevant in this new generation as they're moving in different places. Those who are creators out there on the internet and other things, learn how to protect the products that you're producing. So those are the opportunities that I think we also have to make available that expand what the experiences are for our children based on what they are kind of experiencing now that might be different from our days of play in the summer and those summer breaks as well, just to support them in those places and their development in those areas as well. So again, I keep calling on the professional people who do this to make it available to our families and our communities that we know many of us came from that we couldn't afford. Some of the seminars that do that, let's make it available and take away the affordability being a part of the concern for our families, make it available and accessible to them versus everything having to be affordable for our communities as well.
That is awesome. Listen, these are some golden nuggets that you guys have received as we get ready to, go into the summertime, the summer months. Let's make sure we're keeping young people occupied, informed, properly, supported with resources, all of that jazz. Now, here's some things that I'm excited about for the summertime. I'm excited about walks in the park. I'm excited about popsicles and ice cream. Oh, yes. I'm excited about Vacation Bible School. For those that are still doing it, please do it, because character development is so critically important, regardless of whatever faith you may subscribe to. Get these young people in the camp in the summertime to teach them about character building. Okay, that is important. Alleviate that from the schools, because we need that support before they come into classrooms. We need them to know how to get along with each other and how to respect differences before they enter the school. All right, so I'm gonna put that out there.
If they're gonna do a Vacation Bible camp, make sure they have some good chili dogs, because
y'all get with JT on the menu for Vacation Bible School.
Listen,
it's supposed to be a variety of things. I got to feed the kids every day. So chili dog, pizza. Listen, JT, we're not
This is
finna,
why
you're not
tithing
gonna
offering is
sidetrack me
important.
on my things I'm excited about for the summertime on the menu for Vacation Bible School. Y'all feed
Come
these
on.
kids some good healthy food. Chili
But
dog would be dope.
research where restaurants have children under 12 who can eat for free.
Yes.
So that,
That's
again,
good.
a lot of these things are at low cost or no cost to families to be able to do. My nephews, that was how we enjoyed our lunches when we left Piedmont Park. He ate for free. And all I was paying for
Come
was
on.
myself. But
Yeah.
those are the other things that I also just want to make it available and accessible to our families who sometimes
Yes.
say, I don't have the money. There are a lot of restaurants that have children under 12 eating for free. And if you go there and maybe you don't have anything, but maybe something off the appetizer menu, but your children get to have whatever that lunch is that they're having for that particular day, that also gives them not only the meal, but the exposure. They get to be to know
Yes.
what it is to have these restaurant experiences
Yep.
that are at no cost to you as a family. If that's something that you want to be able to do,
That's it.
you can even reach out to those managers. If you are struggling financially as a mom, before you go, you can say, I understand it's a free meal. I don't have enough really to feed myself, but would I still be able to come in with my child if I just order a drink off the menu and my child gets to eat? Those are the kind of things that you certainly can do. And many managers out there are willing to make those things available to families and not turn people away. Not every, because I recognize some people have not been trained yet on the cultural competency of serving all people in communities, but there are many of them who are out there and supporting families just being able to have experiences and developing those relationships with people as well.
Yes. So couponing was on my list before JT, got on the Vacation Bible School tangent. Couponing is on my list. It's fun. They still have some of the things in the grocery stores. Let the kids go through, get it, have them do searches for it, make it competitive. I'm giving people activities to do that are free, that can be engaging, but you also get something in the end because those coupons are going to help you get those free meals. But also when you're looking up parks and recreations, look up places like the Botanical Gardens, your local library systems that may be having family fun nights, and they may have pizza, they may have food there. So make sure you get connected to those. I'm also excited about word searches in the summertime. Very competitive chess, checkers, robotics, getting kids out in the parks and having them just explore. I'm excited about climbing trees, cleaning yards, and walking dogs, because if you need that done, that is the perfect time to get these nieces, nephews, and guide kids involved. I'm also a champion and excited about what my great-grandparents would say. We did spring cleaning, but when the grandkids and the great-grandkids came, we did something called summer cleaning too. So let me give you guys some hints. This is where you get those screen doors cleaned down, those windows washed and scrubbed. This is where you get those things that you know are on your list that need to be done, but time really is like just not on your side with doing it. So this is when you get those garages cleaned out and you find all of these amazing things and you're able to have story time, because you knew I was going somewhere with this. You're able to have story time with your grandkids, with your nieces and nephews, with your guide children, and you're able to share your experiences when you grew up, things that you've learned, just ways to connect. These are fun, free things, and I promise you, if you do it in the right way, baby, you're gonna come with a clean house, you're gonna come with some good memories, and most importantly, you've been able to engage your loved ones in a free and fun manner where they're safe and you don't have to worry about who's doing the work. You've been able to find an efficient way of doing the work. So those are some of the things that I'm excited about for the summertime outside of fireworks and skating. Fireworks is kind of tricky because, people just do fireworks all year. In Georgia now, they do it all year round, and God bless us. But that's what I'm excited about for the summer, y'all.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you, JT.
That's what's it called?
Awesome. That was a full plate right there, Brother Jay.
Full plate, but listen, whoever you can use one thing off of that, y'all better use it. I'm trying to help y'all this summertime.
Yeah.
All right, so we have talked about literacy, learning, and all of that great jazz. Thank you guys for a beautiful conversation. Tara will be back. And June, we are excited for the I Win team to be closing out very strong in the next 2 weeks. So without further ado, guys, we are at time. Love you guys. Wakanda forever. See you on the next I Win Morning Show. And do not forget to subscribe to the I Win
I just thought of an event.
I know I wanted to throw mine out.
Yeah.
We should do literacy, learning, and libations.
But
I
it would
won't be
have
able to
be in
connect that with
order.
work,
It would
but
have to
I
be
would
in-
definitely be there. That is not an MPU event, but I will be there. Yeah, I like that. I will be there.
You're right. Not in that order. Okay. my
Yeah.
bad. That's it.
Maybe not in that
No,
order.
I said it
but-
didn't have to be in that order. If you're gonna have any literacy,
Literacy.
Oh no, you're right. Because baby, the learning and the
Because if
teaching.
literacy
Okay.
come after the libations, I don't know what you gonna get.
We ain't
Help us
learning
out.
nothing.
All right,
bye,
y'all. Listen, we had time. If we do this, you may see us. Peace.
Bye,
Libations and
everybody.
literacy. I love it.